Welcome to the screencast on implementation of Network Access Protection, in short NAP, using DHCP in Windows Server 2008 R2. My name is Kunal. I'm a Microsoft student partner. I also hold a couple of Microsoft certifications. In this screencast, we will learn what exactly is Network Access Protection, its methods of implementations, and how to set up a DHCP enforcement of NAP. So, you might now be wondering what network access protection is all about. Let me give you a brief introduction to network access protection. Network access protection is a feature that evaluates the health of a client computer against a set of corporate policies and grants it a level of access to the internal network depending upon its health. It is implemented through the Network Policy Server, which is a component of the Network Policy and Access Services Server role in Windows Server 2008 and Windows Server 2008 R2. So, what are the various methods in which NAP can be implemented? NAP can be implemented using the four methods listed below. The first one is IPsec, second one 802.1x, the third one VPN, and the fourth one DHCP. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'll show you the DHCP implementation of NAP. Okay, so let me tell you how this works. What happens in this type of implementation is that only those clients that are certified as healthy by the Network Policy Server receive valid IP addresses from the DHCP server. Non-compliant clients do get IP addresses, but not those that are valid on the internal network. They can get valid IP addresses later on if they demonstrate compliance. Just so that you get a better understanding of how this works, let's get our hands dirty on some virtual lab. But before we actually get into the virtual machines, I just wanted to show you the network setup that I've got here. Okay, here we are. The first server, serverdc1.contoso.local, hosts the Active Directory domain services, the network policy and access services, including the NPS component and the DHCP server services. The second server here hosts the file services. I have provisioned an SMB share on its local disk. We will test access to this shared folder from the Windows 7 client to see if the client has an internal access or not. Now that we have understood the lab setup, let's get into the virtual machine and see NAP in action. Alright, so let's head over to the virtual machines running on Hyper-V. The first server I'll be connecting to here is server DC1. So, now what you have to remember is, in order to successfully implement NAP, there will be three basic configurations that you'll have to do. The first one will be in the Network Policy Server. So I'll go ahead and click on Network Policy Server. Okay, here we are. Now, under Standard Configuration, you will see Select a Configuration Scenario from the list. And by default, Network Access Protection has already been selected. So I'll leave it as it is, and corresponding to that selection below, there will be a Configure NAP link. I'll go ahead and click on that link. Now you can see a Configure NAP wizard comes up on the screen. The first page asks you for a network connection method. Network connection method is nothing but the type of implementation that you wish to implement. So I'll click on the arrow below and select the DHCP implementation. I'll go ahead and click next. The second screen asks you for the Radius clients. Radius clients are nothing but those servers which are actually going to implement NAP. In this case, because we are having a DHCP implementation, DHCP server will be the Radius client in this case. So I'll add the DHCP server here. DHCP server 1, server DC1. I'll click on OK to add it, and OK once again. Now you can see that server DC1 has been added as a DHCP Radius client in this list. Now I'll click next. The third screen comes up, asks you for the DHCP scopes. What this asks you is, in case you are running multiple scopes on the DHCP server, do you wish NAP to be implemented only for one DHCP scopes or for all DHCP scopes? Now if I leave the screen blank, NAP by default will be implemented on all the scopes. So I'll just click next. Now, similar to the previous screen, this screen asks you if you want to implement NAP only to specific machines or all. I'll just leave this blank so that it is implemented on all machines. I click next. Now, this page allows you to add a group of remediation servers. Remediation servers are nothing but those servers which actually help the non-compliant client to gain compliance. So here I'll just add a new group. Name it RSG. Add a server to the remediation server group, namely, let's say remediation server 1, and an IP of 192.168.0. let's say 25. Click on OK. OK. Now I'm going to click next. Here on this screen you see the security health validators that are currently in use to judge the health of the client. By default there's only one that is available, that is the Windows Security Health Validator, and below that there's this real cool feature, enable auto remediation of clients. What this does is, in case that the client is non-compliant but only a basic change of settings can actually get it compliant, this will automatically take care of it. Okay, so now, and under this options, network access for NAP ineligible clients, I'll just leave it as it is and click on next. Now this gives you a brief summary of what you've just set up. I'll click on finish to make the policy active. Finish. Okay, this policy is active. Now let's get back to the Hyper-V server now. The second set of configuration changes that we will be making will be on the DHCP server. Now, because I have the DHCP and the network policy and access services roles on the same server, that is server DC1, I'll head back to the same machine. But in case you have a different machine that's hosting the DHCP services, that will be where you'll have to go to make these changes. Now let me go to the DHCP console. Here we are. Maximize it. Let me just expand this so that you can see whatever is written on the screen. Expand this, right click on IPv4, go to its properties, and in the properties you'll see a network access protection tab. I'll click on the tab. Now here, before we click on enable on all scopes, you'll see a setting that's down below, DHCP server behavior when NPS is unavailable. When NPS is unavailable, we will restrict access. Now I'll click on enable on all scopes. It'll give me a little warning. I'll go ahead and click on yes and OK. Now my NAP is enabled on DHCP. Now the last setting that will be there will be a little basic setting on the domain controller, that is changing the group policy. The third set of configuration changes that we will be making will be on the domain controller. Now my domain controller is again server DC1. I know you must be wondering why do I even have the machines running back there, but we will head over to them shortly. But for now, let's go ahead to the domain controller. Now I'll go to the group policy management. Here it is. Now under the group policy management, the domain that you have running, I have contoso.local. Select default domain policy, right click and click on edit. Now I'll maximize this. Now under computer configuration, under policies, under Windows settings, under security settings, you will see network access protection. I'll go ahead and expand that. I'll expand NAP client configuration and click on enforcement clients. Here the first option will be DHCP quarantine enforcement client. I'll have to enable this. Enable, apply and OK. The second settings will be here, system services. Under system services, I'll have to select network access protection agent. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I'll make this service start automatically on startup. Click on apply, click on OK. Now the third set of changes in this group policy management will be over here, administrative templates. Under that, Windows components. Under that, where is it? Security center. Yeah, here. I'll have to turn on the security center. Click on enable, apply, OK. Now we're done with the changes to be made in the group policy. I'll go ahead and close this. Let us now recollect what we've done till now. First, we went to the network policy server and created a new policy using the configure NAP wizard for the DHCP implementation of NAP. Secondly, we went to the DHCP server and enabled NAP on all scopes. Third setting that we have done was in the group policy. We turned on the DHCP quarantine enforcement client, we turned on the NAP client and made it automatic by default, and we turned on the security center. Now let me just show you the shared folder that I've set up on this file server, that is server DC2, using the share and storage management. First we'll go to the share and storage management. Let me just expand this a little bit. Yep. Now, the folder that you see over here, corporate data, I've just set up before a couple of minutes. Let me just show you where it actually has been set up. It is over here, corporate data. It has one file, the file which we'll be seeing later from Windows 7 client. We will now go to the Windows 7 client to see if we can access the shared folder, namely corporate data, from this place. But before we do that, since we have made changes to the group policy, I'll do a gp update /force to make sure that the policies have been inherited by this client. It'll take a little while here. Okay, it says that the policy updation has been completed. Now I'll just do a ipconfig /renew. What will now happen is that it'll get a new IP address. You see a message down below. It says network access might be limited. Wow. Network access protection is active. Let us now try to access that shared folder I was talking about. / server dc2. Let us see if we can access the shared folder. Network error. It says Windows cannot access server dc2. We have some problem. Let's see what the problem is. But to see what the problem is, we'll have to head back to our network policy server, which is over here in server dc1 under network policy server. We go to the network policy server. I'll just maximize this and move this a little bit on the right. Now, under network access protection, under system health validators, under Windows security health validator, click on settings. On the right side, you see a default configuration. Double click on that to go to its properties. Now, what NAP wants to be a NAP compliant client is that a firewall be turned on the client, an antivirus be on and up to date, and anti-spyware be on and up to date, and automatic updation should be enabled. Now, I know for a fact that there is no antivirus on my client and there's no anti-spyware. So what you'll actually have to do is install an anti-spyware and an antivirus on that client to make it compliant. But in this case, for the purpose of this demonstration and to keep it short and sweet, I'll just disable these two options. Now what will happen is, only if the client has a firewall enabled and automatic updates enabled, it will be compliant. I'll click on OK and exit from here and exit from here again. Let us now get back to the Windows 7 client to see if the problem has been solved. Previously, you can also see a message in the Action Center that says about network access protection. It says the computer doesn't meet security standards defined by your network administrator. And here it gives a little additional information. I'll just close that now. Now, I'll just go ahead and type an ipconfig /renew. What should now happen is that the Windows 7 client should be compliant and get an IP address which is good enough to access the shared folder. Now it has got a new IP address. Let's now try to access the shared folder on server dc2. Oops. Yeah, here we go. Wow, magic. We can now access this. Let's see if we can really. Let me double click this. Important notice. What does the notice say? You've got access to the internal network. Sweet. Nice, right? Yeah, I know. Now, that is one really powerful tool for the network administrators. Don't you agree? Yes, we all do. So, now we are at the end of the presentation. Thank you for watching this screencast, and please feel free to leave your comments and feedback below. To know more about network access protection, please visit http://technet.microsoft.com/en-us/network/bb545879.aspx. Thank you.